Welcome to part 2 of the world tour. In part 1, we went over the entirety of my base. We went over the mansion, the underground base, the house, all of that. In this part, I'm going to try and cover everything else. There may be a third part. I haven't decided yet. If you run straight over here on this side of the river, you can see the start of my castle. This is a build that I just randomly one day decided to build. If you come straight in here, there's a enchanting table for some reason, but there's multiple different ways you can go. You can go left, straight, you can go right. I'm just gonna go pick a direction and go. Come this way, there's just like a little bedroom right here. There's nothing really in here. I used to have my cat in here, so there's fish. If you come out here, there's a staircase that wraps around up here into this empty room. If you come back down this staircase and then go over here, it takes you to this kind of like magic inspired room. There's a bunch of floating candles, a nice skylight, a book and quill on top of the lectern. There's nothing in here. I tried to make the whole castle ruined. So the more complete bits have a bunch of like cracked stone brick, mossy stone brick, some stairs in place of full blocks, regular stone, and some stone slabs that are kind of like offsetted half a block. You can keep going this way down this hallway. It takes you to an unfinished part of the castle. I'm still working on this build. There's an exit right here that just takes you to a river. There's these two doors right here that take you into the dining hall. We'll get to that. But if you come back over here, continue down this hallway, there's a staircase. It takes you up to a different floor of the castle. This just wraps around here, takes you to the balcony in the front, and it also keeps wrapping around. There's a door right here that takes you out here on top of this tower. You can also keep going up. So the ladder right here that takes you to the top of this tower. It also takes you up here. This is incomplete, but it does wrap around and you kind of get a view of this like magic themed tower. There's also this like cut in the wall. There's a door, takes you out here. This wraps around all the way, and it keeps going here and wraps around some more. All of this, of course, in typical fashion, is incomplete. I'm not sure where I got the inspiration for the castle. I just randomly one day during 10th grade, during COVID and all that, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna build a castle. So that's what I did. If you come back over here, then keep going this way, it just takes you to a ladder that takes you down to the bottom floor. A way to get out here on top of this tower, as well as another like walkway. This just takes you to another staircase, another tower, and it also takes you into here. The castle has a lot of different ways to get to different floors. Like for instance, if you go up this staircase, it takes you out here. And then this these fence gates right here take you out here. And then if you go on this like grass path area, it takes you back up here. There's a door that takes you once again to a balcony that overlooks this like magic area. There's a ladder, takes you down here to this area. There's so many like intricate ways to get from point A to point B that I'm either gonna forget some or I'm gonna go over the same thing more than once. But if you go down this staircase and then keep going through the castle, it's like a maze almost. But if you go straight here, this takes you into kind of this like grand dining hall. You have a bunch of grand chandeliers, got some paintings, some tables, a big like dining table, and it also connects to this hallway that takes you to the nether portal. We'll get to the nether hopefully sometime in this video. It also has this hallway right here that takes you this way, and if you go left and then right, it takes you to this tower and then connects back to the center part right here. But if you go back here, there's a staircase, takes you up here on top of this tower. I don't show this. Over here, these doors are right here, take you to kind of like what I call, I guess, the personal area of the castle. It's a lot more wood heavy. This part is majorly incomplete, just because like I have no idea what I'm gonna turn it into. Like I have some ideas. Like I may turn this into like a villager trading hall, as the sign suggests. I was gonna build before I built the map room that you saw in part 1. This is where I was gonna have it, and there's still some item frames on the floor, and there's still some map on the floor. I just haven't got around to finishing this. Continue down this hallway, takes you to some doors. It drops down and it takes you out here. This kind of gives you an idea why I haven't really touched the wooden part of the castle. It's very awkward. Like if you come up here, these grooves, they just don't make a whole lot of sense. There's just a bunch of repetitive blocks, and I'm debating about completely destroying at least half of this and either just leaving it empty, or even putting some like stone that relates to the rest of the castle. This room right here, I gotta mention these doors right here. It just takes you out here. But this room right here, I'm really proud of. I just decorated it. I'm trying to decorate a lot of the empty spots, both in the castle as well as my actual base. It's just a random display room with an armor stand, a balcony. And there's another villager in here. This one doesn't have a name. He's not fancy like Jerry. But I have him here because, like I said previously, I plan to put some villagers possibly in that area over there. This staircase right here, that's unfinished, takes you to a doorway and then another staircase, and this just wraps down to the underground base that I showed in part 1. There's some cohesion going on between my builds. This double staircase right here, there's a staircase here and there's a staircase here. This just takes you up here. There's nothing up here yet. The main staircase for this part of the castle is right here, and if you go up here, it wraps around quite nicely and it takes you to this balcony that overlooks this room. And you can go this way. There's a painting. Follow this hallway. It takes you to this door that takes you out here. I threw some barrels for decoration. Going up this staircase, it takes you outside. Kind of wraps around this square part of the castle. And I decided when I was in the mood of furnishing interiors to kind of give this the look it has now. And I added the staircase here to get to the newest edition of the castle, which is this part. And I decided to turn half of it into kind of like a church. Going back down this staircase, you can kind of see some repetition going on. This is the staircase that I've already walked down. This staircase takes you up here to another watchtower. And this staircase here takes you up here to, yet again, another watchtower. I got a random chest there. We've already been up here. In my mind, the castle was a lot bigger, and I probably could have got away with showing it in part 1, but here we are in part 2, going over it. I think, honestly, that's all there is to show. I put in a lot of work with this build. There's not too much to show for that. There's just a bunch of intricate stairways and ladders I haven't went over, but it gets pretty repetitive pretty quickly. But yeah, that's the castle. Like I said, I thought there was a lot more here to show. There's these 2 chests right here that have been here for a while. I don't get rid of them for some reason. There's some custom pine trees. I think now is a good time to go over the plains biome. Peppa, is that you? But yeah, I'm gonna go on the river just because I realized I forgot to bring up this right here. This is just a small build. It's just a tunnel to kind of cut through the mountain to get to the other side of this river over here. There's a really old dock right here that I made look crumbly. I even used a really old chair I could use in spruce wood to represent like soaked logs. But you can follow this path over here. This path right here, if you choose to follow it, it goes up this hill quite nicely. There's an old map, and it just goes all the way over here and connects to the mansion. But yeah, let's get into the plains. I've been really itching to tour this part of my world just because it's honestly as big as my house. But yeah, this is the plains. This is the first build I built over here. This is kind of like a workshop build, even though I like never come over here. This is a really old chest, has some old stuff in it. I never touch it. But this is where I used to go and put some tools that needed to be repaired. These stone pickaxes? No, they're iron. But you come through this door, it's just kind of like workshop themed. This is kind of like the map making section. Got a cartography table. Some old maps, really old maps. I used to have a military base over there, but I since got rid of that because it just did not fit at all. This is what the workshop used to look like, probably around 2018, 2019. And you come out here, there's just a network of paths. This path over here takes you to a stairway type bridge, and it used to be here because, like I said in part 1, there used to be a build over here, and I was in the progress of making a way to get over here to the plains just because it was so close. This is a map wall I update pretty regularly. It just has a little bit of spawn, the Christmas tree area, the workshop, the barn, the railway station, sugarcane farm. This bridge over here just takes you over here to a path that I believe goes all the way to spawn somewhat. This cobblestone path right here was actually made by my brother, and like I said, I have a thing for nostalgia, and I can't bring myself to get rid of it, even though it's kind of an eyesore. Similar story to that pillar of like concrete and stone. He played on a tablet and still plays on mobile, but on his iPhone, and it was really hard to take off with Elytra for him, so he would pillar up and take off from there. There's another pillar of like sand and gravel over there. This path takes you up here to kind of like a little sunflower patch. It goes down here to some more custom trees. I actually made these before the tiger trees, but I had this retaining wall that I made look old and crumbly. I got a sugarcane farm. Actually, this actually used to be longer. I actually had another one right here. This is why this area is kind of cleared out. But it was just way too much sugarcane for me, so I got rid of the second one, made this one shorter, and just kept that one right there. This is where I go to get honeycomb. And you just light these fires, and then you can grab your shears and get some honeycomb. Funny enough, this is the only area in my world that you can come and do this at. Got a bunch of flower pods. Each tall flower gets a pod. I don't have the new flower. This road right here, you used to have like a little roundabout right here, and it branched off this way and took a hard left and then a hard right and went all the way to where that light post is over there. I got rid of all of that deep slate and made it look way more nature themed just because it was just way too much. And I just made this area look very nature oriented. I did like a river right here, and then like a cute little stream. I made this bridge, and then expanded this pond that I made way back. I did a bunch of flowers and plants and firefly bushes. This deep slate right here takes you up here to this area. There's a somewhat custom cherry tree. It's not too custom. I think all I did was add those blocks right there. This is the train station. This is where all the rails that you've seen in part 1 lead to. This takes you to that one room down in my underground base. This takes you to a subway hub that's not finished. And this takes you to a future project of mine called the grain station. It's going to be a much more modern looking one of these. And it's going to be where I have all of my future tracks lead into, even though I haven't worked with minecart tracks in a while. This right here is where that one tunnel in my world down in the underground base used to lead to. The remnants of it are still here, but this is where that track used to lead to. Nowadays though, I have that funneled down in the subway, the grain subway. This long staircase, if you take a peek at my Y level, you can kind of get an idea on how deep this is. This is just a circular room. In fact, I think I still have most of the ore and stone I mined out to make this. But this tunnel right here takes you all the way to the part of my underground base that has the track all the way to here. And if you remember from part 2, this is my underground base. This took a long time to dig out and decorate, but I'm really proud of the way it turned out. My plan, when I get incentive to work on this, is to have another one of these here, 2 more there, 2 more there, and then 2 here. And these are going to lead to far off portions elsewhere in my world. My thought process behind this is the places that are really far off are going to be accessible by the subway, and places that are relatively close to this train station are going to be accessed by above ground or rails. So places like Spawn, my brother's house, my house, those are going to be accessed by going above ground. But places such as maybe the Cherry Grove, my other brother's house, which I didn't even mention in part 1, but he lives far off in a mangrove swamp. Places like those are going to be potentially accessed by the subway. I also have another villager down here. This one also doesn't have a name. I'm telling you, they're not fancy like Jerry is. This central tower also has another floor. I feel like I'm repeating myself. But if you come up here, there's nothing up here, just a bell and then a chest. Yeah, that's the train station. There's a couple more ways you can go, like this takes you to Spawn. These over here are going to take you elsewhere on nearby places. One of them is going to take you to the city, which we'll get to in a second. This wall right here, this fence looking thing, is going to wrap around all the way around this like plains area. I have a new project I'm kind of like brainstorming in my world, kind of themed around like the whole idea of like national parks. And this area has a really OG sheep in it, this one over here. Back in the day when I was still playing on my iPhone, I needed red dye, so I went all the way out here to this plains. I found a random sheep, I dyed it red and then sheared it, and that's why this sheep is here. There's also a naturally spawning pink sheep somewhere around here. Yeah, right here. I sheared the sheep, yeah, Pinky, and put the wool in the museum. It's the first pink sheep I found naturally in this world, and I just thought it was fitting that I put the wool inside the museum, which is another build I keep mentioning, and we'll get to that too. If you follow this road this way, over this bridge and then through this tunnel, you enter another town. This one is kind of like really old. It uses brick and a bunch of other blocks. It's just a town. Here's another one of those rail stations that's in the Spawn village. This was actually the first version. If you watch part 1, I have the same exact design in the Spawn village. But this is Town Hall. If you come through here, I just got a map of the entire town. It also has the road that runs through here. It actually hasn't been updated yet, and you can kind of see how I used to have this area laid out. And I don't know about you, but I think this is just ugly and way too much deep slate. So that's why I kind of got rid of it all and restored it to its natural look. This is like a lobby. You can wait to get called up stairs to the big office. This is a storage closet. This is a maintenance ladder that takes you to the top of this that has nothing. These doors out here, right here, just take you out here. If you go left, you can, there's a master staircase that just takes you up here. Got a grandfather clock, and then the main office, the mayor's office. And I just dedicated this to my brother for giggles. Got like a terrarium, or whatever these things are called. My plan is to put like a green frog in here, but that's a process, so I haven't done that yet. Got a lectern with a book and quill, and just made this kind of look like a an office. I'm debating about replacing this calcite with some stripped pale oak. I think it would look way better. I don't know though, maybe. This track right here takes you all the way to a swamp, like an OG swamp. Me and my brother, we kind of went on like a little adventure, and we set up a base camp all the way over there. I might get to that because there's a couple other smaller builds that are minute in terms of my world. My brother also has like a secondary base on the island I showed you in part 1 on the map. I may or may not include that. If you come over to this building, it's one building with 2 rooms crammed inside of itself. Come through here, this is kind of like a lobby, I guess. It has an upstairs, but it's unfinished. You just have a painting up here. Downstairs though, you can kind of go through here, and this is like a banner shop. I guess right here, this would be the shop portion, and then in here, this is where I would come to make banners. or whoever worked here would come to make banners. There's a bunch of dyes inside these barrels. It's kind of like a little parking lot back here. This road, it continues this away. It goes through this tunnel right here, and then goes across this bridge through this tunnel, and it just runs straight by the mansion. If you keep following it this way, it curves this way and then goes down to this underground bit right here. It then splits off. This goes to the museum. It's dug out, but it's not finished. Like the walls and the ceiling and the lights aren't put in. But this way takes you to a ramp, and then it takes you straight right and takes you straight to the community area with the Christmas tree in the center. If you head back to this town right here, there's another bit of this road that goes this way. That way doesn't go nowhere yet. I'll kind of tell you my plans when I get to the city. There's a couple more builds to go over. These have no interior. I'm not really going to go too in detail with them. But there's like a little basement part right here. You can go through these doors right here. And then this one is really skinny and cramped, so I use trapdoors as like a wall, but there's nothing in here, literally nothing at all. I'm not sure what I'm gonna put in them. Maybe some villagers, but haven't decided yet. This build right here is kind of like a motel or a hotel. It actually is somewhat done. I completely forgot I built that. This is kind of like a reception area, reception only. You can just come in here. I plan to put a villager here. That's why there's like these trapdoors right here to protect from baby zombies. And it just has a bunch of like rooms. Only one of these is actually furnished. Typical me. But just a bunch of little small rooms with just single beds in them. There's an upstairs for kind of like the richer people who stay here. These rooms are a lot bigger. They have double beds. There's a hole right here. Yeah, there's not too many rooms up here, just because, like I said, these are bigger rooms. This room right here is actually completed. We got the same double beds. Got some paintings, a diamond on the wall even. But yeah, this is kind of like the hotel or motel of the town. And that's pretty much it. That's all the buildings I have built here. We can follow this road right here. It used to go... it used to take a left right here and kind of curve, and I hated this so much. I haven't removed all this deep slate and stone stairs. I kind of kept it here as a reminder of what it once was, but I used a lot of dirt and kind of made a curve while also going up. This was really hard to do, but all of this right here is hollow inside, and this just connects with a bridge that kind of goes above the mega tiger trees somewhat. You can see the city over here. My plan, as I said earlier, with this road is I want this road to go that way, and I want this one to go down and then meet with this long road right here, just to kind of fill everything in and make everything connect. I got a couple more things to show you in the plains before we head over to the city. Mainly this dirt path right here that just goes this way, and it goes into this build. This used to be where I kept the military base, but it was a very stupid idea, and I took it down and instead built this barn. You just come through here, and this is where you can keep some horses. This chest right here has some remnants of that military base. I used to have a map wall on the table, but it's just a bunch of horse stalls. Over here, and over here actually, there's staircases you can go up, and it just takes you up different floors. There was a period when I built this, and I literally did not touch it for years. This year, in fact, I recently got back here and kind of did the interior, and I made it look crumbly and old, as if, you know, someone hadn't been here in a while. If you come out the back of the barn, you can see this track right here. This goes straight to spawn. There's like a little bridge right here, like a really old train bridge, and this rail goes all the way to the train station that I mentioned in part 1. It goes into this tunnel right here, and it just goes straight to the train station. You can see, like I mentioned, another one of my brother's towers. I kept it for nostalgia. I probably should get rid of it, but I'm keeping it for the time being. This is just like a really empty field for horses. It's kind of like inspired by a ranch. Haven't touched this place in a long time. But overall, I think that's the plains biome knocked out. There's a bunch of smaller builds that realistically I probably could have put in part 1, but I didn't, just because that video was 40 minutes long. If you fly this away, you can see another major project of mine. I wanted to build kind of like a nuclear fallout inspired base, and so I gathered a bunch of coarse dirt and littered this entire area over here with coarse dirt. This retaining wall, this is pre 1.17 terrain. That's why there's a wall right here. All of this is new terrain. As you can see, there's a new mountain over there. There actually was, before I covered it up, all of this used to be like a lake, and I just covered it up and been since forgotten. But yeah, there's a bunch of roads made out of deep slate tile. Some smaller roads like I have over there, and also some like highways I have spread out throughout here. This build right here is kind of was going to be like a failed nuclear power plant. I originally wasn't going to have any other builds out here. I also wasn't going to have any roads, but I was like, whatever. And so I started to build skyscrapers and some other skyscrapers and bridges and turnpikes and all of that. This build, in typical fashion, is not finished, but it's going to be like a super smelter, like a really big industrial furnace, just to give me a reason to come here. Got a door right here that takes you out here. Just got some like maybe like power transmitters for a decor. This road right here goes all the way out here. It curves and it just goes straight into the oblivion. And my plan, like I said, is to have it connect with that bridge, that road somehow. But this is my city. There's not too many builds to really call it a city, but in the future there definitely will be. This build right here is my creeper farm. This is how I get gunpowder for my rockets. There's another portal that doesn't hook up with anything. Some chests filled with just blocks that I got from clearing out this area. This build is somewhat furnished and finished. I got a lot of inspiration from DallasMed65. He also has a Minecraft world and also an LP. I highly recommend you check out his channel. But this is just a creeper farm. Gunpowder goes in here. I got some potatoes in there for some reason. Got some bubble columns that take you up to kind of like a lobby area. Got like an access closet right here, and then 2 doors that take you up to like the CEO of this build's office, which is not finished. Got a bubble column that takes you all the way down to the bottom floor. Got a creeper head. Because fun fact, when I was building this, there was actually a thunderstorm happening, so I was like, you know what, I don't really have too many mob heads, so I'm going to take advantage of this. And I did, and I got a bunch of different mob heads, and I store them inside this bundle right here. Going outside the creeper factory, there's this build right here. This is going to be where I keep a paper farm. Whenever I get around to building it, it's going to go right here in this build. Got some like depot areas to where like maybe some trucks can back up into and then pull out by going this way. I have a extensive road network right here, but really no builds. But that's kind of how I build the city. I build the roads and then I build the buildings after, sometimes at the same time. I haven't worked on here in a while, but that's pretty much it to the city. Kind of like with the castle, I put in a lot more work than what it actually looks like I did. I cleared out a lot of trees over here, and I also dug out this canal just so this lake over here can go under this bridge right here and connect with the lake that's over here. If you go on this bridge right here, it takes you up to a higher bridge, and my plan is to connect it with this village right here. Everything to this side of the canal is going to be left normal. I'm not going to bother taking down all the trees, and I'm not going to bother covering it up with coarse dirt. This area is going to be kind of like the industrial area. So it's going to have a bunch of factories, a lot of industrial builds, and then everything to that side of the canal is going to be kind of like personal area. I forgot to mention that the paper factory technically has another floor. I have a lever right here that just controls these lights. A door. This is a one-way door, kind of like an emergency exit. If you go up this staircase here, it takes you to here. This controls all of the lights on this floor of the building. Through these doors, you enter kind of like an office area. Just a bunch of rooms. This takes you out here to a balcony. I like my balconies. An access closet. And just more offices that are incomplete and unfinished. This takes you to another staircase. And going up here, you'll find more incomplete build. But this is the same floor as this staircase, which connects with the first staircase we were just at. But yeah, that's the paper factory, all completed. That's the bulk of the city. There's nothing really much else to show. I can go on and on with how much I love these roads. They were really hard to create, especially this one right here. I want to build some like a poor housing district in this area. With both the castle, the plains biome, as well as the city out of the way, I think we can dive deep into the nether, and I can kind of show you my really thrown together nether hub slash nether base. So this is it. It's very castle themed. There's actually a portal inside the castle itself in the overworld that takes you into, yet again, another castle. That big portal right there takes you to my middle brother's house. That portal right there takes you to the alchemy tower inside my personal house. This portal right here takes you to the museum. If you come over here, there's just a really square room. I actually had a ghast in here for a while, but he somehow died. And I think I actually brought his remains in the museum. This portal right here, I believe takes you to the castle. Actually, I think that one takes you to the castle and this one takes you to the museum. If you come down this staircase right here, more incomplete build, it takes you over here. This ice bridge right here, as well as this another tunnel, takes you all the way to the portal that takes you to my girlfriend's house and the cherry grove, as well as my little brother's, not my middle brother, my little brother, his house in the mangrove swamp. If you go to this part of the nether castle, you can go down this staircase here. It's a really long and aggravating staircase. Takes you down here. This is the remnants of the first ice bridge I had. I didn't like what level it was at. I didn't like how like the main portal was up there. If you wanted to get on the ice road, you had to go down this horrible staircase. So I moved it up. But if you keep going down here, you finally will hit the bottom, and it just takes you to this like kind of futuristic walkway. This is my netherite mine. There's a portal over there. I think that's actually the portal to the city. At least I hope it is. That would be perfect to connect. But if you come down here, it's just a series of tunnels for netherite mining only. It's like the perfect level almost for netherite. Coming out of the netherite mine, you see this bridge right here. This portal takes you down in my skeleton tunnels. If you remember in part 1, I had a portal right there at the bottom of the spawner where you kill the skeletons. This is just where that portal takes you out to. If you come back up here into the nether castle, you can get on the ice bridge. And it's fully decorated. This took a really long time. Each tunnel is kind of coordinated to where it takes you. So like this is just the basic design. This one is themed around the cherry grove, and it takes you straight to my girlfriend's house. And if we just go down here, go through her portal, which takes you into the cherry grove. So this is the cherry grove. I helped her kind of redesign it and make it a little bit more accessible. I did a path. I cleared out a bunch of terrain just to make it a little bit more flat. This is her house. I'm not going to go too much into detail with it. Going down here, she has like a little wheat farm and a storage tower. Also has a map wall. All of these like thicker cherry trees, me and her like manually planted. She just wanted to expand the forest. So I helped her do that. She just has a bunch of random cute builds, like a heart pond right here. She has a well over here. She has a kind of like a watchtower right here. This is where she keeps her happy guest. She has a random build right here that has no purpose, but it just connects up here to this for horse stalls. Down over here, she has some hobbit holes, kind of like I do, but these are in her own style. I helped her design this like path right here and this hole. When the sun sets or rises, it's one of those. It rises or sets really nicely right here. Over there is one of my builds. It's kind of like a flower forest inspired house. But going in here, this is just her hobbit hole. It's where she keeps her enchanting table, bunch of chests, books, place to smelt stuff, repair your tools on this anvil right here. She recently joined the world, so she doesn't have too much to show. It's cute. She tries. She has a pumpkin farm right here. Half of these builds, I'm pretty convinced she kind of like pulled off of TikTok or Pinterest, but we don't talk about that. Over here, as I previously mentioned, is one of my builds. To get over here, you can go down the mountain. She doesn't really have a staircase to get down here, but she does have this like really cute bridge that she designed herself, and she's really proud of it, so don't make fun of her over it. She also has, which I kind of forgot about, kind of like a little glass dome. She keeps some pets in here, some axolotls. She wants some frogs, but I haven't really helped her do that just yet. I believe, yeah, there's a couple axolotls in this hole right here. They don't get too much attention because she forgets about them. But yeah, coming over here is a flower forest, and I just have this house. Randomly decided to build a house out here, so I did. There's another portal that's not really connected to anything. The reason I wanted to build this here is because we randomly went mining and some caves underneath, and I just thought it was kind of special, so I settled down here for a little bit and built this house. My brother found this. But I really love this build. I really love the kind of like glass door right here. This kind of gave me some inspiration for my armory back at my house. I love this floor design. I'm surprised I haven't incorporated it in a build back at home. But it's just a flower forest house. Has a bunch of greenery and some flowers inside it. It's quite simple, but I just love this build so much. Going back through the nether and getting back on the main nether tunnel, we can fly this away and encounter another tunnel design. This one is mangrove themed, and as you could probably guess, this one takes you straight to my my littlest brother's house. He originally settled down in a mushroom island, and he kind of took a hiatus from playing, and when he came back, the mangrove swamp was released, and he for some reason wanted to build his actual base there. So I looked and found him a mangrove swamp, and that's where he decided to settle down and build his base. Straight through the portal, you encounter a village. He has like an automatic sugarcane farm set up. There's a bunch of frogs everywhere. He loves frogs. His skin used to be a frog. That's why he calls it the frog swamp. Over here we have a carrot farm, and then down here he worked really hard to clear out all of these pesky mangrove trees. Ironically enough, he hates mangrove trees but loves the biome, so he stays here. He has like a moss carpet path, and it just takes you to his chicken pen. He has chickens in real life, and so he kind of designed a pen, like a chicken coop for them. He has a windmill build right here. He designed this himself, and I think it turned out pretty good for his skill. There's nothing in here. He has this weird staircase that takes you up to a floor. Right here is his house. You know what? I can't help but not go in here just because I just think it's funny. He has a bunch of wither skulls right here, and upstairs right here. He also has a basement, but I'm not going to include that just because it's his stuff. He's actually the richest on the world by like a lot. He grinds and mines a lot. He has a bunch of netherite, a bunch of diamonds and gold and emerald and all that. He's even richer than I am. But that's his mangrove swamp. He has a villager farm somewhere around here. I'm not 100% sure. He showed me a couple times, but I think it's somewhere out here. Last but not least, I think it's time to tackle the museum build. Like I said in part 1, I was obsessed with collecting valuable stuff in this world, as well as sentimental things to me. And I had a room in my house, but it got cluttered real quickly, so I went over here and built this really big museum build. This build has a bunch of really OG stuff, like a bunch of OG maps, and also items over here. Like it has my first pickaxe, for example, like a golden apple, first emerald that was traded in this world. These iron tools right here were the first ever tools. But it also has a bunch of like weird stuff that's personal to me. I'm not really gonna include all that just because a lot of context is needed. We have some Christmas gifts. This is 2017. Over here we have 2020, and I completely skipped 2018, but it's somewhere. If you keep wrapping around inside the museum, we have another Christmas gift and another Christmas gift over here. Like I said, some of these items have meaning to everyone else, but most of them only have meaning to me, so I'm not really going to go too into detail. I do have like a master book over here that tells you all about each item, but it's very personal to me and the rest of the people on this world, so I don't really think there's a need to go over each and every single item. This is a map of the cherry grove we were just at before me and my girlfriend planted all those trees. The museum, each year I build a wall, like one of these like walls right here, fill it with item frames, and just over time accumulate different items. It's not finished, imagine that, but it does have room for me to expand once the bottom floor is filled up, which after this year and these 4 item frames it will be. And up here on the second floor will be where I store 2026 and so forth. That's the museum. If I were to go over each and every item, we would be here forever and I'd probably be embarrassed. So that's why I'm not going to do that. There's also the museum has a back door you can go out of over here. It also has a basement, and I keep some OG tools on the wall over here. I think these actually belonged to my brother. Yeah, they did. It just wraps around here. I have a skeleton horse in there because this whole bottom section isn't done. But I do have another portal that takes you out into the nether and into the nether castle. I think besides going over each and every item in here, this wraps up the museum. One final thing. Down here is the beginnings of where this road is going to lead out and connect with the museum. If you remember, it just goes down here, and I actually got a lot more done to it than I thought I did. It's just really dark, but it just connects here and just comes out right here and glazes past the mansion. With all that being said, I believe that wraps up part 2 of the world tour. I'm sure there's a couple builds that I forgot about, didn't go over. There's a bunch of smaller builds that I'm not going to go over just because they're so small and there's no point going thousands of blocks just to go over them. I don't have a end portal room or nothing fancy like that. I haven't even killed the wither in this world, surprisingly. I'm kind of saving that for like a special moment, so like I don't have a beacon or nothing like that. For the future, I plan on posting kind of let's play style of videos of this world to my channel, so if that's something that interests you, make sure to subscribe and all that. I'm not sure when those videos will actually start to come out, but stay tuned for those. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching part 1. If you did, I really appreciate it. But yeah, that's my 2017 Minecraft world. In part 1, we covered the entirety of the base, and in part 2, we covered some smaller builds such as the castle, the city, and all that. I hope y'all have a great day, and see you next time. Bye.